We are now live. Hi, sweetheart. Welcome. If you are here on Facebook, let me know you're here so that I can properly say hello to you. If you are here on YouTube, you can also send me a little note on the chat, and I'll be happy to acknowledge you. Sometimes, even if you send messages, though, I miss them and they come up after the program. So if I don't say hi to you immediately, please don't take it personally. Most likely I didn't see it. Welcome to yet another episode of Sound Bath Sundays. So, okay, I'm a little torn right now, and I've got to tell you why. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening during this situation this global situation that we're all going through. Now, there are some people that have been expressing views that are not necessarily the sheeple views or the views that the media wants you to believe, the government wants you to believe. We have to agree that there's a lot of conflicting and contradicting information, right? At least we can agree with that. Now, I am a person who tries her hardest not to ruffle people's feathers because I naturally do it. So I'm naturally ruffling people's feathers because of just the way I am. And so I'm conscious about it. And you know what? You resist persists. So for a long time, I'm trying to keep my mouth shut and not say stuff, but I'll say it like a little bit, not directly. And today, when I was talking about connecting the dots, I will talk about connect the dots between stress and pains in our body, like physical pain and drama in our life. But I have believed since I'm 19 years old that everything is connected. My paper, I was a dance major at university for a while. And my freshman year, I had to write a paper. And my paper was about how everything is connected. And I proposed a theory of how, like, without me knowing anything about physics, nothing. My theory was that everything was connected, like a plant in the forest in New Zealand was connected to a computer in New York to a penguin in Antarctica. Okay, so I thought that everything was connected and we were part of the whole. That was my entire thing. I still do believe that with all my heart. I've never, ever felt anything different. And I'm always talking about, if you've never heard me before, I usually talk about it's very difficult to grab a knife with your dominant hand and start stabbing your body and not have a hand that stabbed suffer the consequences. And I feel that as human beings, we do that. We tend to believe that we can damage our environment, our earth, each other, and that nothing's going to happen to us. People who are pouring chemicals in the soil, knowing the damage that it does to bees, to other beings on the planet, thinking that, oh, well, if bees go extinct, who cares? Well, who cares? Well, yeah, guess what? If bees go extinct, so do we. So there's some sort of moment in time where we literally, all of us, have to wake up and come to terms with that and then start taking the action for it. Now, the reason why I'm like this right now, if you can feel my energy, is because there is, and the minute I say his name, first of all, I'm gonna get flagged by the powers that be. Second, I'm gonna lose a lot of you. But if you would humor me and just listen to the end and listen with your heart and not with your mind or your previous beliefs or the idea of what you think things are. And if you believe the media, I respect you, I honor you. Here's the thing. some people have been speaking up against what's happening right now, thinking that there's something really fishy going on. I think there's really something really fishy going on. And if you don't think there's something really fishy going on, start reading the news from everywhere and start comparing how people have the same script in a lot of places and where they clash, and people say one thing one day and another the other day. So there is definitely different points of views that are clashing, and I don't believe that at least any of my friends know the whole truth. I don't know if anyone knows the whole truth of what the heck is going on right now. But I do know that some people that have tried to speak up from their point of view are being censored and are being taken off the YouTube and the Facebook, and are being threatened. And some of those people I know personally. One of those people is my coach, Brian Rose. And he had an episode with David Icke a few weeks ago that got taken down. The YouTube, they in Facebook, they took David Icke's profile down. They've banned him from everywhere, anywhere that somebody else has the power to take him out of. They try to eliminate him from the media so that nobody can hear his point of view. So that tells me something, because if he was as crazy as people say that he is, if he was a nut job, which personally I don't think he is, I may not agree with everything he says, and I don't know, enough to pass judgment on him. But if he was a crazy lunatic, why would they be taking him down? They'd have a good case against him and say, don't listen to him, he's crazy, like they do with many other people. But the fact of the matter is that people that I honor and respect, Dr. Buttar, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief, one of the I had the first edition of hardcover of his book. I have it upstairs in my bookshelf. He had a video with a woman called Nia Peoples, Bruce Lipton, and Rashid, I think is his name, Buttar. I know his last name is Buttar. And they had a video two weekends ago asking for people to pray, to send love and to pray, because something big was going down. And they didn't even say what was going down. They were asking people to pray and to send love because the US was something big was going down, and they didn't even mention what it was. That video got banned in I think they got taken down. Hi, sweetheart. Yes. And all I'm saying is, let's question. And if I'm asking you today to connect the dots and do your own thinking and become sovereign in your thoughts and see where you are falling prey to what the media is feeding you, what they're telling you to believe, because the truth of the matter is that they're telling me to stay inside because there's something really dangerous going on. And I get the numbers from the thing, and they tell me in my thing that there's like 300 people have died in Philadelphia, and 500 people, and of those, 375 have been from what are they called, senior homes and prisons. Okay, so they're holding all these people inside for 300 people when the flu. And I know this thing is a killer bug. Believe you me, okay? I have the ex-boyfriend of a friend of mine. This friend of mine used to be an ambassador to a country in South America, in Europe. She was the ambassadoress, or however you said in feminine, okay? She was the ambassador, and she had a boyfriend that is really high up, like top CEO of a huge global corporation, and he got this thing, and he told her this was a killer thing. They brought me back to life 3 times. And this is a guy that was going through cancer treatment, okay, and was almost getting all better when this thing hit him, and they literally had to revive him 3 times. And now he's fortunately alive and well. So I'm not diminishing at all the power that this virus has. Okay. But I know that something is going on that we don't know what it is, but that doesn't sound right. And when people start losing their rights to express their opinion in a country like this one, I am in this country because I believed in what it stood for. I believed in freedom of speech. I believe in the ability, like, okay, I'm getting personal here because I'm from Mexico. For those of you who don't know, thank you for the arts, lovies. Okay. And my entire childhood, I was told no. My entire 19 years of life in Mexico, everything was no to me. I wanted to go to the music conservatory when I was 7 years old. My brother was 5. He was okay. I was too old to go in. No, you don't know enough music theory for us to allow you in. He was 6, I was 9, something. I was at an age where I was too old. I was always told too old. I went to the ballet school of Mexico at 10, and they laughed at me because I was too old. I went to the contemporary school of dance where actually my cousins who live in New York went to, okay? And I was laughed out of there because I was 15, and they told me, what are you doing here at 15? You're too late. You're too old. And I came to this country, and my first dance teacher, Mary Anthony, from the Anthony Dance Theater Company in New York City. She was my modern dance teacher at NYU during summer schools. And then I started learning with her throughout the school year. And she told me, don't let anyone say no to you. Don't listen. You can dance. If you want to be a dancer, you will be a dancer. And one day she told me, you are a dancer now. And once a dancer, always a dancer. And I believed her, and she encouraged me. And that is something that I've always had in this country. Everything I wanted to do, I've been able to do. I became an actor at 38 when everybody laughed at me. Okay, so when people start taking the rights of others, of expressing their own truth, whether you agree with them or not, do you think I agree with the person that is now leading this country? Trust me when I tell you that I don't. However, I've heard him speak about the dangers of vaccines before he even became president, and he made sense. And I was like, wait a second, right? And I have lived what it is to have a child have a reaction to a vaccine that almost killed her, that almost left her autistic. And they have been the 3 longest days of my entire life when I thought my daughter would not make it through because they gave her too many boosters and the flu vaccine at the same time, which is a counterindication. But that pediatrician, did he care to read the instructions? No, he didn't. He didn't care. And for that, I'm being labeled an anti-vaxxer when I'm saying, please don't give them too many shots at once. Please, let's think about this. Please, let's not put formaldehyde and mercury in children's bodies. Let's think about this. Let's review this. Maybe they have to be older. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying let's have common sense, which seems to have gone down the freaking toilet. Okay? So now, this morning, there's a David Icke is going live on londonreal.tv. londonreal.tv. They're probably on live now. And David Icke was going to speak. Brian couldn't find, hadn't heard from David Icke. I really don't know if he's gone on. I think Noelle's going to tell me. Maybe she is going to tell me if they're actually on or not. But let me tell you this. They have gone ahead and had to build their own platform. They're transmitting from a bunker because they will not be silenced, and I'm with them. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they're saying stuff that makes no sense, or if they're whacked and they're crazy and they're like anti-establishment. All they're saying is, listen, think for yourself. Connect the dots, make your own decision, but hear other opinions, hear the other side. And when I teach my class, it's like, okay, there's my phone. Okay, if I tell you that this thing, that's usually I use my phone because there's more of a contrast, right? If I'm showing you my phone and I'm showing you the screen, and then I'm looking at the red back of my phone, it's going to look totally different from one side to the other. And we're looking at the same thing, right? This is a concave thing. It's convex to me, right? I'm looking at this convex thing and you're looking at this concave thing. It is the same exact thing and we're looking at it from a different angle. And it doesn't mean we're all right? And all I'm saying is that, unfortunately, we have been programmed to believe certain things, to believe the government because we think they're looking out for us. If they were looking out for us, glyphosate wouldn't exist. Cheerios that we feed our kids wouldn't have a chemical that is absolute poison. Cheerios, people. And because nobody reads the freaking labels. Polysorbate 80. Red, the color red, 40. The yellow, the blue, okay? That make all the pretty colors in the gummy bears that I happen to love, okay? Red is like lethal. And you know where all these colors come from? They don't come from natural beets. No. They come from bugs that they squash and they bring the color out. And that's what we're eating, carmine red, just in case you didn't know. So there are so many things we don't know. Another thing, okay? When you see a label that says, like, for example, no sugar added or no whatever poison added, that is their way of getting around it because the manufacturer of the product usually sends it in bulk to the packaging place. So when they're referring to no whatever added, they're referring to the people who packaged whatever ingredient it was into the box. When packed it, they didn't add that thing, but it could have that thing in it if they added it in the manufacturing process. Did you know that? And then because the people who package it, who are the last people who come in contact with the product before it gets to the supermarkets or wherever you're going to acquire it, because they didn't add it, they can get away with no poison added. Fill in the blank, whatever it is. And I don't have a box of Cheerios because I stopped buying Cheerios, but I fed my daughter Cheerios all growing up. And I was like, when I found out, it's like, holy cow, because it didn't have extra sugar, because it was supposedly the healthy thing. You're trying to do what's best for your kids. So when they're trying to take my right away or anybody else's right away, even if I don't agree with them, it is imperative that we speak out and we say something and we do not allow this to continue, because every day there's another right getting taken away from us. And it is scary times and we are awakening, and there's no need, listen to me, there is no need to fight with physical. There's no need, because violence begets violence, and the damage that they have caused us, we cannot change it with anything else but love. We cannot change it without a change in our mindset. When you look at things differently, the things you look at change. That is all we have to do. There's no need to incite any protests, any violence, anything. It's taking the focus off what we don't agree with and we don't like, and then take it and put it on what we do want this life and this world to be like. And that, my friends, comes from being emotionally intelligent. It comes from going within and listening to your own voice that will never, ever, 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 ever lead you astray. Trust me, every time you follow your intuition, you will do the right thing for yourself. And when you go with the love in your heart, and when you say no to things like no vaccination, maybe not now, maybe just one, but not 20,000 at the time. I was reading a report that said that there's 74 vaccines were suggested in the protocol that have gone up to 124 or something like that between at the time a child is born and they turn 16. What? Okay, so I know I'm talking all over the place, but connect the dots, because everything is connected. Because when they take a right away, when they lock us in while they're putting up 5G towers, okay, and whether 5G causes whatever or doesn't cause whatever, I'm not saying anything. I don't know. I don't have the facts, okay? What I do know, because my intuition has always told me, is that when whales and dolphins beach themselves, I work with sound people, okay? And I know that just like anything, you can use something for good and you can use something for evil, okay? And sound, you can use it for healing and you can use it for destruction. And a knife, you can use it to make beautiful, beautiful gourmet flowers and beautiful things, and you can kill someone with it. Okay, so it's how, it's not, you can't blame the knife for the person who's wielding it. Okay, so what are we doing with these things, right? And I know, and I've never had proof, but believe me, I know there must be some documents out there that prove this, that when whales and dolphins beach themselves, and people are like, oh, I wonder why nobody knows. Yeah, go find out if they were doing sonar tests underwater and these poor beings were running out of the water just trying to survive and not getting exploded from the inside. Okay, I know that, and if that doesn't make any sense to you, go research it. Go research how many damage we have done to dolphins, to whales, to everything that comes on our path. We feel like we have the right to just dominate, destroy, put in a cage, or eat, or be cruel to them. It's like we have to stop. And we must keep this country free so that we can literally spread this love and change the way things are being done now, because they are definitely not working. It's not right that in the supposedly best country of the world, there's people freaking starving every day. There's children who's, you know what? And this I got from a good source, okay? In government, the reason why Philadelphia took longer to close down the schools was because they were feverishly scrambling. I've said this before. They were feverishly scrambling to figure out how they were going to feed the kids that their only meals were breakfast and lunch, and were the meals they got at school, because otherwise they didn't eat till the next day. How now, brown cow, is that possible in this country, ladies and gentlemen? And then they have the nerve to say, oh, third world countries. Bull. Like, because nobody, and the amount of food that gets thrown away that you can't pick up because it's like, oh, it's illegal to pick up the food. Perfectly good food gets thrown away and not given to people who are starving. It is insane. So I am going to ask you to connect the dots. Use your own gray matter. Use your own logic. Use your heart to know what the truth is, and don't buy all the lies that you're getting fed. Okay? And don't allow them to keep you in a state of stress that is cruel and unnecessary, because prisons, the worst punishment for the inmates is to put them in solitary confinement. So in the guise of protecting people, they're putting them in solitary confinement. That, friends, is not a solution. And how long are they willing to do that to people for? And thank you, Jeannie, for I'm getting lots of hearts over there on Facebook, and I'm so grateful. And how long are we willing to let these atrocities happen? So if you are for freedom of speech, I recommend that when we're done here, don't leave me now. When we're done here, we all tune in to LondonReal.tv and watch the David Icke interview and give them a chance. And just listen with your heart and see if anything of what this man says rings true. There may be things that you might be like, that sounds weird. Yeah, there's so many things that sound weird. But when you hear him and then you go back to the media and they start talking, you'll be like, well, that sounds weird too. And it's about making your own mind up, doing what's right for yourself and for your family. When they start taking all of our rights away, do you want to be a robot? Do you want to have a chip in your hand so that they know where you are? Do you want to be trained like a Pavlov dog to keep the distance so that the satellites can pick up your signals so that they know where you are at all times? Okay? My daughter and I were talking the other day. I showed her a pair of sneakers. I thought, look how cute. Didn't say the name, nothing. Within 10 seconds, she had ads popping up on her iPhone. Same thing happened to David Icke and his son. He was saying it the other day. I'm like, that happened to me. They are, no, Dr. Buttar. Dr. Buttar lives in New Zealand. He was saying this in one of the interviews. I've heard so many. He was like, there's no Dunkin' Donuts in New Zealand where we live. There's a Dunkin' Donuts in Auckland. We said something about Dunkin' Donuts, and his son came running back to him saying, Dad, I got an ad for Dunkin' Donuts came up on my phone. So they're listening to every word you say, every conversation, picking up every stuff, and then feeding you all the advertising. So you go and you buy and you do whatever they think it's appropriate. So all I'm asking you is do not buy into it. Connect the dots. We cannot be harming each other and thinking that it's not going to harm the whole, because we are all one. And the only thing that will save us, yep, I just got a notification. They're on live on LondonReal.tv, the freedom platform. They are saying we should not be silenced. And usually I'm not, I'm impassioned about healing and sound, and I can't even say things. Did you know that one of my videos got banned? I got kicked out of doTERRA because I said something really good about their oils. And I had to have Noel edit all the part that I spoke about the essential oils out, even though I spoke about other brands. And they kicked me out of doTERRA. They've reinstated me since, because they sent me warnings that I had to take, that I couldn't say those things about the oils. And all I was doing was singing their praises, but they're so afraid of getting shut down that they were sending me warnings and kicked me out and all these things. And I was like, what the heck? So nobody follows me. Nobody, I have very small, nobody follows me. I love you all. But in comparison to other people, I have a really small following, right? And they're still worried. Like, if I say something, they're still like, how did they know that I talked about it? They have thoughts going on all the time, right? So we're a tiny little community and they're chasing after me. Imagine all the threats that all these people are getting. Bobby Kennedy speaking out. Okay, Bobby Kennedy speaking out. And he is not getting treated nicely either. And he comes from, she's got a lot more followers than me. Okay, and that's what I mean. So anyway, because of this situation, we are, whether we notice it or not, under a low grade stress if we're not noticing, or different degrees of stress. And the higher the stress, the higher our chances of not making decisions that come from our intelligence, but from our primitive brain, which is simply trying to keep us alive. Now, as we go on living our day to day, we start getting used to the amount of stress that is happening, because right now what's going on is that there are, at least in the area that I'm in, every day there's less people sick, but then there's less people, but there's more people stressed because they have no money, they have no job, they can't go out. It builds up, my friends. And one way or another, we all are getting affected. And then what happens? We pick up, we're antennas, right? We transmit information and receive information. So we might be keeping it cool, but we're also getting all the stress that is floating around in the ether. And when that happens, we begin to show different things, pains in our body, kinks. I talked about, I'm leading a meditation group, and we did a meditation on kinking the hose, right? We're like a hose. When a garden hose is perfectly round and everything, you open the water and it flows just fine, but you fold it in a space and you kink it like that, and then even though there's water in the hose, it won't go through. And it's the same with our bodies. When we tighten our neck, right, or we're not sitting in a correct position, we start thinking thoughts, and those thoughts activate our mind-body monitoring system, and then our body starts picking up on those thoughts and then starts getting stressed. Where? In your weak points. If you're normally having neck pain, you're going to get it in the neck. If you normally have it in your shoulders, well, guess what? If you have back pain, do you usually suffer from lower back pain, middle back pain, upper back pain? Where is your body? What is the weakest point in your body that suffers when the stress hits you? So then you start fixing one. Okay, I have a kink in my neck. Let me get rid of the kink in my neck. But if you don't handle or have a way of releasing that stress somehow, or transmuting it, and you're pushing it down, well, then it's like, oh, well, now my shoulder's hurting. Oh, well, now my elbow's hurting. Oh, well, now it's gone to my knee. Well, now my toe, or now my throat, and now I'm losing my voice. Where does it go? Do you feel like you're getting a little bit like you start feeling a thing in your throat? Or like me, I'm like, I got the virus. I have a sore throat. Oh my God, I got the virus. I've gone through, I have the virus about 3 times already. At the very beginning, one day, I went to Costco. I came back. I knew something got in my throat. And through the night, I had a horrible fever. And it went through, and it just moved through me. And for at least 2 weeks, I thought I got the virus. And it just moved right through me because I had the weirdest symptoms. Weird. But it just went overnight. And then by the next morning, or then 2 days later, my throat stopped hurting. It was just weird. It was not normal symptoms, but I was convinced I had it, right? So we start, where are you wondering? Oh my God, did I get it? Did I catch it? And we're going around with fear. I walk out and people cross the street and it's like, wow, okay, that's interesting, right? And I want to go out and hug everybody. They're like, stay away from me, woman, stay away. And I respect it as well. because we really don't know what's going on. So all I'm saying is do your breath work, do your meditation, go within and listen to your intuition, go in your heart, feel, or if something is just not right, and listen. Okay? And let's all join the bandwidth or the sound wave or the vibration of freedom, love, peace, and freedom today. And here we go. If you are new to sound healing with vocal tapestry, I ask you that you put your feet flat on the floor. Do not cross your arms or your legs. Place your palms in a receiving position on your thighs. Keep your back straight and just notice anywhere in your body where you might have a little kink, and let it go. And let's take our focus off of anything other than love today. So please join me in putting, well, you guys have to do it because I'm playing, but place both hands on your heart center for a little bit and just open to receive, because we are all one, and let's all connect our hearts together. So take a deep breath, do a 3 cleansing breaths, which is in through your nose, hold for 1 or 2 counts, and then let it all go with a big When you're ready, go ahead and wiggle your toes. Come right back in and do a little stretch, shake it out. Do a few cleansing breaths. Just let it all go. All the stress, all the worry, anything that causes disharmony or is discordant in your body, let it go and connect to the feeling and the high vibration of love and peace and well-being. Are you all back? Thank you for the hearts. I love you so much. Hi, Eugene. Hola, nena. Let me see if anybody else. Stacia. Yes, that's right, Virginia. So good to see you. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for the hearts. I wanted to share that we are almost at the end. We're 2/3 of the way done with our 21-day meditation class, and it's been awesome. And I've decided that I'm going to start a new cycle. So if you are ready to start creating that strong connection to your inner self, to your inner voice, and you've tried to meditate in the past, but it's not been so productive, or you feel like you could get deeper but don't know how, trust me, I was told the other day that this is beyond meditate with ease, that it's even easier than that. So it is my promise to you that by the end of the 21 days, you will have established a new practice that will change your life for the better. It will allow you to really connect to that sovereignty and that ability to take the next inspire action and listen and hear your intuition speaking to you in the loudest and clearest voice ever. And believe me that I've tried every way to meditate, everything, and I finally came up with this way of doing it that it literally does you. I was at a forum. I did the landmark forum 20 something years ago. And the thing that they said is like, oh, all you have to do is show up and it does you. And it did. You didn't have to participate. If you wanted to, it was awesome. But if you didn't, you could just sit there and the forum would just do you. And it's so true. And I thought my entire life, I'm like, I want to find things that just do you and you don't have to effort. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that this way of meditating does you. And if you're ready to take it to the next level, this is it. If you're ready to create a new habit, that it becomes like brushing your teeth, that you feel it the day you don't do it, you're like, okay. And then when you do it, just everything just starts to flow. It creates so much ease and joy in your life, ability to tap into that level of peace, creating your own eye of the hurricane that just gets expanded and expanded and expanded. So if you are interested in it, send me a message. You can, if you're on YouTube and want to, we'll put the address, but it's info at Vocal Tapestry. And if you are on Facebook and would like to hear more about this, send me a direct message and I'll send you the information. It is, the cost is what it would cost you to go to a nice restaurant for dinner. I mean, that's a non-issue. I've made it so there is absolutely no resistance in any way. It's all about your commitment to you, to show up for yourself if this is something that is calling you. Anyway, I love you. I'm going to let you go and try to catch a bit of David Icke and Brian Rose on their live thing on londonreal.tv before we go into our meditation celebration for our second week. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you very much. Facebook, hold on a second. I'm saying goodbye to my friends here on YouTube. I love you, and I will see you next week.